Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Raya, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. What's up, guys? What a show I have in store for you. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of topics, not that many topics, but a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions. But before we get into that, I just want to say, we had such good feedback on our drink of the week, which our segment is going to be called Brews and Booze. I love that. I'll be referencing it as Brews and Booze Reviews. I can't think of it. Okay, I'll be referencing it as Brews and Booze Reviews.
Okay, wait, what's that?
Best as I can do.
What's that one commercial that it has them
buttery flaky crunch.
That's what it reminded me of.
A flaky buttery biscuit, a buttery and then she's like, Dan, you can't do it, and then he's like, well, you do it, and she's like, a buttery flaky she can't do it. Oh my god, got so much good feedback. I will continue to work on the title again. I have a tongue tie, so let's not make fun of physical ailments, okay?
Excuses. You just found out you had a tongue tie a month ago.
For myself while looking in the mirror, admiring myself, okay? No,
I'm interrupting this program because the talent went on a little ADHD rant and abandoned the outline that I gave her. So let's get into the Booze and Brews review.
This week we have two chicks. I'm really excited about this one. I honestly picked this because of the packaging. Does anybody else do that? Do they ever pick their alcohol just based on the pretty packaging? I definitely do that with wine. I'm a big red girl. And now I'm, more of a connoisseur. So I know what I like, but before I didn't know what I liked. I just picked alcohol based on the pretty packaging or the name or something like that. Okay, so I'm really excited to try this. Oh, it's a product of Canada. Oh, I love that. I love Canada. I love that. Okay, I love this. So this is two chicks. This flavor is vodka, elderflower, and pear cocktail. I'm excited for this one because elderflower, isn't that good for you for colds and stuff? Okay, this is their about.
That's elderberry. But elderflower.
Same thing?
No.
Oh. Okay, this is their about. We are two chicks. We are canned cocktails, but we are so much more. We love our canned cocktails, but what we love most is connecting over cocktails, celebrating our achievements, sharing our dreams, and telling great stories. That is on brand for moi.
Okay, I was wrong. I thought you were thinking of elderberry.
I was.
Okay. But elderflower, elderflower does have anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay, so we were both right.
Yeah.
Okay, but this doesn't say what it's made with. Oh God, okay, this is new. I'm sorry. Two Chicks was born out of a passion for encouraging people to embrace one another and connect. I just felt like there wasn't anything on the market that really embraced the qualities of empowerment, inclusivity, and connection. I love that. And I decided to focus on deliciously designed, ready-to-drink cocktails because people tend to connect over cocktails. One of the founders wrote that. Okay, I love that. I'm excited. And it's an import good of Canada.
So I think on their Instagram, this must be their statement.
Okay.
Premium ready-to-drink cocktails made with real fruit and spirits. 5% ABV. Founded, owned, and run by women. That's all it says.
God, and I love a women-owned company. Okay, so let's get into it. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a good one. A good little ASMR. Okay, ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
Chars. Let's get the brand in there. I taste the elderflower for sure.
Not bad. Yeah. Or is it the pear?
Might be the pear.
I do like it. Yeah.
I like it. It's refreshing.
I think I'm mostly tasting the pear now that
let me see. I can't tell what it tastes like. It tastes like something that I've had before, like a popsicle as a kid. It's kind of like nostalgic. I'm getting a nostalgic feeling.
It gives me like, okay, this might sound bad, but it almost gives me maybe like an Otter Pop, like the end of an Otter Pop type of vibe.
Is it the push pop? What's an
No,
Otter
no.
Pop?
The Otter Pop is the frozen
Yeah,
pop.
like the Flintstone.
No. It's the one where it's literally just flavoring and ice, and it's just like a stick.
Well, I'm googling. Oh,
those.
Oh yeah. Oh, like a frozen. Oh yes.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me.
Yeah, like an ice pop.
Yeah,
an ice
yeah.
pop. Otter Pop is the brand, babe. I didn't
Well,
even know they had a fucking brand.
I know, but that's the main like brand that.
Really?
people
I
know
just
of.
get.
Anyways, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, especially like when you get
Ooh.
towards the end where it like is like
Just
melted.
juice.
Yeah,
Straight
it's just
juice. The blue ones were the vibe, and you just. Yeah. Did you know that you were just supposed to break those in two, by the way, to open the
No.
popsicle? Yeah,
Telling
another
me-
thing I learned on
I
TikTok.
not broke my teeth, but like I always use my teeth to try to rip it open. And
Okay, so let's see. I want to tell you the flavors that I'm tasting. So I am tasting the pear. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's like a natural sweet. Now, I don't know that I personally could drink this, multiple of this in like a setting. Now, I don't know that I'm the best drink reviewer. I'm just throwing that out there for all of these disclaimers because I have hella stomach issues. So I can't do like a lot of sweet stuff or anything like that. I'm trying to think of what this rivals, like kind of rosé, like a sweet rosé or like a sweet white wine, maybe. I know it says vodka, but it kind of tastes
like
more
a sparkling wine.
like a sparkling
Wait,
wine.
where are the ingredients on there?
Is it on the box?
I just don't like that I don't see the ingredients anywhere.
Yeah. Damn, this is hard. Okay.
It's okay. The thing is, it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah, I will say it's good, but it's not great.
Maybe it's the flavor that we chose.
No, this is apparently the most popular.
I mean, it's good.
It's good. My rating, I'm gonna give it a 2.75.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I technically, I really could only have like one of these.
Yeah.
And I would have to switch with something else.
It's kind of a lot sweeter than I thought it would be.
It's really
I think that's
sweet.
why I feel like I can only drink one of them. And the sparklingness, it's very subtle. Like it's not very.
And it was in the fridge
bubbly.
and it was in that, so
Yeah.
it can't be us. It's not very carbonated.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
not
you
very
mean. Yeah, it's not
carbonated.
very carbonated. But I guess if it's supposed to be a cocktail versus like a sparkling, but it says sparkling vodka fizz.
Yeah.
Like
That's why
right
I
on the
thought it'd be
bottle
more-
it says fizz.
That's why I thought it
It's
would
not
be
giving
more
fizz.
carbonated. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's just almost a little too sweet for me. That's why I was curious at the ingredients, because I was curious how much sugar there was and how they sweeten it. Because they say they use like all natural, but sometimes when they say like, all
I don't know,
natural
but if
ingredients,
pears like ferment, aren't they like more sweet?
I don't know.
In Canada, like they have to like they don't Canada doesn't use fake shit, do they? Is the FDA only in America?
Yes.
Right. And what are they doing for us?
So yeah, so the FDA is like our guideline, like our food. What is it? Food
Distribution
distribution.
association.
Anyways, but I mean,
think I'm right.
also
No, I think it's just I know it's distribution.
food distribution. No, but I feel like
Administration,
yeah, but
not association.
what does
It's the food.
FDA
No, that I want to be right. The food distribution is administration.
Okay, this is what I thought it was, but continue.
Oh, really? Because you didn't say it. So what did you think that it was?
Well, I knew it wasn't food and drink, but I knew it was another thing.
Oh,
Food and Drug Administration.
drug. Oh man, I was off by one word. You're giving those girls that trivia.
Well, no, because I wanted to know what the D was, because I.
You're giving that. Oh, you didn't write the full movie
No,
title.
no.
Point.
No, obviously it's food.
Yeah, drug. You're right.
But I just was trying to
What
remember
did I say?
what the
Food distribution.
you said food distribution administration. And I'm
Well,
like, that's
By the way, I will have you. 3 people told me that the Grand Canyon is very close to Las Vegas.
I did, yeah, no, I know.
And they said the helicopter ride was indeed correct.
yes, no, that's correct. But the only thing, like the part where you go to see
I
Grand
guess.
Canyon,
Yeah.
you're not going to go to Nevada to go see the Grand Canyon. You're going to go
Well,
to
thank
Arizona.
God, honestly, no, on that part, thank God you guys told me. My ass would have been flying to Vegas and be like, where is it?
Yeah, because the way you were referencing you wanted to go see it, I'm like, well, yes,
she
if you
thinks
did
she's
the
hiking,
helicopter.
and she is hiking a lot.
Actually, backpacking.
Backpacking, yeah. It's going to be a Forrest Gump trip.
But yeah, FDA is only for the
Food
U.S.
and drugs.
because that's who like regulates our food and drugs.
But what about, so like, what does Canada have?
Their own administration that does that. So for instance, that's why in other countries, they don't allow a bunch of stuff that we allow.
Right.
And so they have their own administration that monitors that.
Probably better.
Yeah, I mean, it is because there's a lot of things that
like
FDA has not,
Do you know they got rid of Red 40
in
California?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By 20, it's like, I don't, by 2030,
like,
I think.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Anyways, okay, so I'm giving it 2.75. What are you giving it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know we were doing like point whatever.
I mean, I just made it up because I think
so I was going to say 3
harsh.
because I was like 2 is too harsh.
I think a 2 is too harsh, and then a 3, I'm like,
yeah.
I was going to go with a 3 as well.
Yeah. Not that I hate, like, it's, again,
is there a scale? Like, should we just do whole
honestly,
numbers?
No, I think a 2.7. I mean, I think that's fine. Honestly, I kind of hate rating things because I'm like,
it sounds mean.
I would give it this. But then, like, I try something else and I'm like, oh, that's definitely this. But then I'm like, okay, I would rank the other one
less.
Yeah,
no,
less
I
or
agree.
more or whatever.
Like if I'm having an off day and I'm like, oh, this is like so good or so bad or what. Not that this is bad, but I'm just saying in general. And then I come back, like I'll rewatch stuff or I'll like think of stuff that I've said or like even shows that I've said are good. I'm like, was I high? Like that's wrong. I don't agree with that decision. I'm a new person today.
You know what that reminds me of? When Brooke was talking in the canceled podcast.
Brookie Cookie.
Oh, wait. No, she wasn't talking in her podcast.
Oh,
she was
and that
on
other
somebody
one?
else's podcast.
Yeah.
I just say stuff that I don't even actually believe or I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even actually do. But like I just like get nervous and sometimes I just like pull shit out of my ass and I'm like, why? Why did I just say that? I'm like, that's so me though. Sometimes when I get anxiety, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this. I'm like,
what did I say the other day when I got nervous and I was like, oh my God, you guys. I have to tell you this. My client said I was like showing them the house and my client said something and like they brought her friends. I was like, oh, my dead dog's on top of that. Like on my, like.
What? Your dead dog is on top of what?
Like they were saying something about a dresser. I don't even remember. Dude, I blacked out. I just remember saying, why did I say that? My dog, love of my life, is under my TV on my like little TV stand. And my dad and my grandma are both in the closet. Not that I love them less. She's smaller like than the 2 boxes. I don't know what I said, but I was like, yeah, my dead dog's out. Like, blah, blah. I don't fucking know what I said, but I know that I referenced something about a dead dog. And they were like, oh. And I was like, anyways, so do we like it? What's going on? It was so
oversharing.
Literally so embarrassing. And it was like with her friends. And I was like, I just know somebody's gonna say something. Like, that was so embarrassing. I was like, I don't even know why I said that. Okay, how's it been 30 minutes? Gotta go. Okay.
All right. Now that that's out of the way, let's get back to Raya's rant and this week's hot topics.
No, because Invisalign, and I'm like, because I already kind of have a lisp with the Invisalign, and then I'm like, why is my tongue working so hard, to overcome the And then I asked one of my clients who's a doctor, I said, at the closing table, I said, do you think I have a tongue tie? And he was like, I haven't really heard any like speech impediments. And he's like, but I just thought it was like a Valley Girl accent because you said he lived in California and whatever. He's like, no, it definitely is. He's like, yeah, you just kind of like is. He was doing that to me. And I was like, okay, so you don't think I should get it cut? And he's like, no, not unless no, I don't think. He said, I saw a professional. He said not to get my tongue cut.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, if you have a tongue tie, it's best to do it when you're young. Like you should do it when you're a kid Not necessarily just have to be a baby. Like my niece did it and she's 5, but she did it like a year or 2 ago. So like 3. But anyways, I mean you can still do it as an adult, but it's not like as recommended, I think.
I just
And then
think it's
also
crazy.
it's if you have like health issues, like it's
Right,
causing
right,
you
right,
lots
right,
of health
right.
issues because it can
They
cause
can't
you
swallow and
it can cause you different health issues. So
yeah, I think I'm
I
fine.
think if it's not bothering you in any sort of
Well, it is because I talk
illness
like a
way.
drunk person
No,
even
but
when
I
I'm
don't think
not.
I don't think that has anything to do.
Right. It's just my personality is insufferable. It's fine. It's not for everybody.
Because what he was talking about was it's not really tongue tie related. Or what do you think is causing your tongue? Why do you think it's your tongue tie when you talk?
No, I only noticed it. No, what do you mean? I've been talking like this for 31 years. I talk really fast. It's fine. It's been working for me. But I only noticed it when the influencers were cutting the baby's tongue ties, which means like the little thing under your tongue that connects your tongue to your jaw on their own and filming that for TikTok. And the babies were screaming their head off. It was awful.
Okay, they were doing it themselves.
Themselves.
Okay, that's not
That's
good.
the only reason why I'm like, no, I have that. That's
no, you're
normal.
supposed to like get a medical professional to do that.
Well, influencers think that they know everything. So, moving on.
Okay, on to that rant.
I want to jump into the Love is Blind of it all. We need reality personnel to go back to doing. I need you guys to go back to being ghosted for the whole time that you're filming and when it's coming to light. Because remember when people would film The Bachelor and there would be a gap of like 2 months in their like content and you're like, oh, they're filming The Bachelor, like whatever. I need that to happen again. I need you guys to like ghost and like to stop being so messy in the drama and like fuel everything. I just think you guys are giving fans. You know what I mean? Like, let us be a fan. I don't need confirm nor deny bullshit situations. Like, I just need you guys to shut the fuck up and let us watch, you know? And then the whole Laura and Sarah Ann and Jeremy of it all, his dumbass left his phone in the car thinking that he was going to be safe from a quote lost and found in Clit City. There's a lot of people boots on the ground going to lost and found, which I'm kind of bummed we didn't even go to what they're talking about in Charlotte. I don't even know where we went to Charlotte. Actually, I do, because the way that Laura was like, you weren't on South End, you were on Uptown, and that's where Sarah Ann lives. And I said, I know about Uptown because we stayed at a shitty ass Airbnb there.
Well, we were only there for like a day and a half. Not
It
even.
was enough.
Yeah.
It was enough.
Well, yeah, we just didn't get to do a whole lot.
How about all of these people too, when the couples, they live together, they're all in townhomes instead of like apartments, how season 5 or whatever, they're all in apartments. They were in rows of townhomes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
They got an upgrade, maybe because it's cheaper. I don't know, but
Yeah,
townhomes
but
here,
I'm like, what is cheaper than Texas? There's no way that
Yeah,
Charlotte's more
yeah.
with all that construction. There's no way. Charlotte's expensive. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I would like to know why they got townhome apartment situations and everybody else got apartments. Okay, so Laura catches Jeremy in the biggest lie of his life. He was like, "Oh yeah, I saw who did he said one of the guys from the group texted me saying that Sarah Ann was going to be there." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be a bitch and like not go because somebody that I don't want to see is going to be there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to tell her it's over." Okay. And then he's like, "So I pulled her aside, Laura, and I told Sarah Ann, hey, you need to not contact me anymore," because apparently Sarah Ann had reached out to Jeremy via Instagram and he liked the comment that, or like the DM that she sent. She was like, "Hey, like if you're still marinating on your choice, like let me know," or something like that. And Laura's like, "What the fuck? He's engaged." I mean, yeah, I agree. But I guess now that Jeremy had a secret family and a secret ex-fiance and a child that he didn't tell, he says that he told, and he said, "Oh, well, production gave me a bad edit," and like all this stuff. I mean, I don't think so. I think they would have definitely told us that you had a girlfriend, a secret girlfriend and a secret child, because that's why you were selling your house. You mentioned that you just sold your house, but you didn't say, oh, because I recently got out of an engagement and we had to sell my house 2 weeks ago. And now I feel that I'm ready for the next engagement. That doesn't make sense to me. Even though he was claiming that he was not living with somebody at the time that he applied for the show, and by the time he got called back to film, it had been like 3 months or something that he had been broken up with his girlfriend or his fiance or whatever, and that, then he started to film the show. I don't know. I call bullshit. I think from one engagement to the next, you're not healed. I guess who gives a fuck about healing when there's clout involved, okay? But, that's just my 2 cents on that. And then, so when they go to this after party or whatever party situation, he goes out with whatever guys from the show that didn't make it. Like, it was like everybody from the show or something like that. One of the guys tell him, okay, Sarah Ann's gonna be here. He's like, okay, I'm coming still, whatever. I'm not gonna let her ruin my time. Sure, Jan, I'm sure that was your thought process. So apparently he was out till 5 something in the morning or 6 a.m. And he told Laura that he was in the parking lot till 5, 6 a.m. talking to Sarah Ann. Why do you need to be talking to Sarah Ann for 3 hours, past 4 hours, past the time of close? No, thank you. Also, she was like, there's not, everybody was like, there's not a parking lot. I lost and found. So everybody was speculating that he parked his car somewhere. He left his phone in there because he said that he shared his location with Laura. And then he either went with Sarah Ann or took an Uber or whatever, but he had a stupid ass Apple Watch on and it picked up his location at Sarah Ann's house in Uptown. The way that his soul left his body, men are so stupid. I'm sorry, you guys. Y'all are hunter-gatherers. That's about like all you have going for you. And you really should lean into that role, because the way that you can't really outsmart a woman. I mean, I don't think that's completely true, but in this situation it was, because then when we get into the Reesa Teesa of it all, I don't know. So they're donezo. Laura was like, I'm not doing this, and broke up again. Oh, and then when they went to that pool mixer and then Jeremy saw Jess and how, wait, is that coming up or did they already meet? I don't even remember, but how the promo is like, you're still my number one choice, like blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick of it. Don't do that. The only other promo that we've seen is Chelsea is the only one in the wedding dress. So like, do they get married? She also posted something on her story yesterday where it looked like to be Jimmy's shadow in the reflection of her sunglasses. So that was a dead giveaway. And then the gag is that every one of these men are making Clay look like the best. He's trying so hard not to cheat on AD. And he is like, he talks about it every 5 minutes he's like, it's so hard for me not to cheat and I really don't want to cheat on you, which I mean, I appreciate, but babe, why is it so in the forefront of your mind? Like, what do you mean? No one's making you. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And then Matthew is blaming his awkward, experience on his sobriety journey, which I don't think is entirely true. And he's also, I don't know if he's saying or other people are saying allegedly he's neurodivergent. And I don't believe that either. I mean, maybe, but babe, it's giving serial killer. A spade's a spade. You know what I mean? Like, and people are like, well, nobody has come through for Matthew. And it's because everybody's in the ground. So anyways, okay, well, that's all I have to say about Love is Blind, I guess. I mean, I think this season's a shit show, I guess, in the best way. I mean, it has been fun to watch, but I think we've lost the plot of it. And also, people are saying, like, no way Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey have the hosting skills to nail this reunion. And I completely agree. Nick Lachey's just going to be there, like, what was the song that he was singing? He's just going to be there, like, making up songs in his head. And, like, Vanessa Lachey is going to be like, well, when we were fighting, and Nick would be on his phone. Like, she's always going to bring it back to them. I don't know. If I was Jessica Simpson, I would be laughing. You know what I mean? Anyways, okay, you guys. I'm going back through my notes here when I was talking with my friend. Oh, should we call her really quick? She wants to be on the pod. Let's call her. Hi, you're live on air with Raya Hensler, host of Coffee Meets Vodka.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Okay, I just wanted to talk about Love is Blind. I recapped it a little bit, but I wanted to hear your thoughts and talk about the Jessica of it all as well. So I want to hear your thoughts, you expert.
Which, like, it's just through episode 9, right?
Yes. I'm doing an emergency recap when the other episodes come out. I'll do that on Thursday. So just 1 through episode 9.
I don't know. I told you, I don't think she's as confident as she portrays.
Jessica?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree because I said if she's so Southern and, she had a baby daddy and was so Southern and all these things, like, why didn't he marry her? They just thought it was okay to have a baby out of wedlock, which I don't care, but I'm saying that's what she's portraying.
I think she said they were only together for like a year after she was born. They broke up when she was like a year old.
Okay, let's talk about Chelsea. What are your thoughts on Chelsea and Jimmy? Do you think they're still together?
No.
I saw a photo that she posted on her story, and he was in the reflection of her glasses.
Stop. Who said that?
In my Facebook group.
I need to look. I could see them potentially both being still together because, like, I feel like they both are kind of, like, realizing maybe they made the wrong choice, but are too prideful to ever admit that.
You think Chelsea's too prideful?
To admit that, like, she should have chosen Trevor. But even though now we have all this other stuff about Trevor.
Right. But also, I saw, again in this Facebook group, that somebody went to high school with Chelsea and that she was obsessed with the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this anonymous poster said that she said the best way to get people to like you is just constantly laugh at them. And then she was like, if you notice in the pods how confident Chelsea was, and then out of the pods, she's like very insecure. It's because she was like laughing and got 2 people to fall in love with them and boosting their egos. And then once, it came down to looking at her in the physical, she got really insecure about it. And now she's like, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I told you last week, I thought maybe they were the only ones to get married.
Yeah. And also, okay, remind me, but like, I feel like you weren't able to break things off. If you wanted to break things off, you had to say no at the altar. Why did that change? Jeremy and Laura broke up. Kenneth and Brittany broke up.
Mm-hmm.
But season 1, you had to go to the altar and say no.
Well, no, because remember season 1, Diamond and I forget the guy's name.
Oh, yeah. But he said he was gay, wasn't he?
Bi.
Oh,
but he,
bi.
didn't tell her in the pod. So then.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Yeah. When he told her, she was like really upset. She was like, that's something you tell,
Yeah.
Upset. And so, like, they didn't even go to the wedding. They didn't even do the wedding.
Oh, that's true. Good point. I was just looking at our text and I was, like, making sure that I didn't forget anything. But, okay, well.
No, but remember I said the whole Jeremy thing. Like, he's going to come out that, like, the house had been on the market for a while, which, like, that even if it sold 2 weeks before it had probably been on the market.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I doubt he was living there. And he confirmed.
Wait, you're breaking up. He hasn't lived there since October?
Baseball. I feel like the ex-fiance's mom is like looking for clout too. I think they're just like orange.
I mean, that's a good point. I guess we'll see at the reunion. I'm interested to see, the Vanessa and Nick Lachey of it all, if they can even handle any of the questions.
It's going to be a lot. I feel like they're not going to go over everything.
No, they're not going to. No, they're not even going to fucking touch.
I'm like already talking about everything like on their Instagrams and stuff.
I know. That's what I just said. It pisses me off. I just said, like, stop being a fan.
Yeah. Everyone's like, did no one sign an NDA?
Yeah, literally.
And then, like, their Anne's definitely in Jeremy's apartment.
Yeah. It's too much. Well, okay. Well, I got to wrap this segment up, but I appreciate you chiming in.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye. Anyways, let's move on to Reesa Teesa. Oh, before I get into Reesa Teesa, I want to talk about what the fuck's going on with JT from Southern Charm. Speaking of Southern Charm, Craig liked one of our reels. I know it sounds cringy to say reels, apparently, but whatever. He liked our IG post, which more importantly means Paige saw it. And maybe I made her laugh. Maybe I gave her a little giggle. You know what I mean? Okay, JT from Southern Charm is a little wild. I feel like I've been conned and duped per usual by a man. I still think he's a nice guy. I mean, I guess. But you know what? I see a lot of myself in him. You know, it's him with the parking wars for me. So this week over Instagram, this is such niche content that I don't know why I'm the only one that saw it. I feel like he's an Airbnb investor. If you don't know, JT from Southern Charm, show him on Bravo. He is an Airbnb investor and he has these little golf carts that he got monogrammed with his company logo and he calls them little inn chariots or whatever. I think that's cute. One of them got stolen from like a year ago, 2 years ago or something like that. And I guess this is even before he got on the show because somebody, you know, had been like on the hunt for them and he couldn't find them. Long story short, it was in a tow yard. Somebody DM'd him saying, hey, I think I see one of your golf carts for sale in this lady's yard. So he goes on like a rant, calls the police, films the whole thing. And he's like, you know, I think it's for sale for $44,800, something like that. And instead of buying it, which, yeah, I agree, like it's his. Well, actually, he couldn't really prove it. He didn't have any paperwork. He didn't have like the licensing or like whatever he needed to prove to the police that it was his. The police were like, yeah, I see that it's yours, but they're like legally it's hers because you cannot prove it. And she picked it up from a tow yard or some shit like that. Or even she stole it. Like it's her property now. Right. So then he was like, that's awful, blah, blah. He's like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like, I don't know if I should just let it go or like start a GoFundMe to pay for it. Babe, what? If you want it back so bad, pay the $4,800. I guarantee that you have it. Like, Kim, people are dying. $4,800 for a GoFundMe? I'm not going to contribute to your GoFundMe. That's where you lost me, babe. Love you still, kind of. But, like, what's going on? Anyways, that was just very niche content that I wanted to talk about. And then I reposted one of his stories, and I said, be fucking for real, JT. And then he liked it. So, like, are you being real? What's going on? And a couple weeks ago that he was like in a weird legal battle, public fight with like one of his ex-girlfriends or like ex-flames. And he was like, who is this girl? And it like ended up being one of his ex-girlfriends. I don't know. Don't know what's going on there, but I do like him on the show and I hope he comes back. Let's get into the Reesa Teesa of it all, bitch. What in the fuck is going on? First of all, I'm going to disclaim, I don't think it's that crazy. I'm just going to say, I don't think it's that crazy. It's another Dirty John situation, basically season 3 that we're seeing in live action in real time on TikTok. If you don't know, Reesa Teesa is just an average Jane from Georgia who just blew up over the last 2 weeks telling her story about how she basically got conned by her ex-husband. I mean, I hate that for her. I'm not trying to victim shame here. I'm just giving my 2 cents because I feel like it's important for women to hear this story. And I definitely think it's important for her to share the story and to warn other women or in hopes to warn other women for sure. 52 parts though. I could have done that, bitch. 2, maybe 5 parts max. Let me give you the topics that you need to hear. And I have to tell you, I'm on part 49. Okay. And I'm going to spoil it for you so you don't have to watch it. I mean, you should still watch it, but now she's verified with 3.2 million followers, by the way. When I saw initially, she had 150,000. I saw the next day, it was 2.3. Now she has like 3.5 million followers. And now she just got verified when I was in the bathroom. When I was in the bathroom doing my makeup.
That's just crazy to me that many people
saw it,
but are also took the time to watch all 52 parts. That's why I haven't watched it yet, because I'm like, 52 parts?
I saw it when it was like 18 parts, and I was like, that's too much for me. And then it grew and grew, and it was too far gone. And I was like, oh my God, this is like mind-numbing to get through. I'm sorry. First of all, I want to say I'm glad she didn't start a podcast. I think going the TikTok route was the appropriate platform for her to do it because TikTok pushed the talking out for its algorithm because they took away all the music basically. So now we just have to sit and talk to each other, and converse. So I thought that was a good move on her part. Now, what I don't think was a good move is she really should have gave us the highlights and left us wanting more. Now, when this is a live action on Lifetime, Tyler Perry Productions, Hello Sunshine, Reese Witherspoon, and Octavia Spencer is playing Reesa Teesa, I'm not going to need to watch it because I know exactly what happened. There's nothing that is leaving me wanting more. Like, I know exactly everything. And maybe that was her point. Maybe she didn't want to write a book. Maybe she didn't want a screenplay. But I'm fully in support of you getting your bag and whatever way that means. And I just think there was, too much given away. She could have given the highlights, which I will give for you. Let me just break it down and I'll give you like a little synopsis. She meets this guy during COVID, like right before Georgia shuts down and for the pandemic, March 2020. Okay. So it was right before Georgia shut down. I guess it was like during the summer or some shit. Everybody's coupled up. Everybody's trying to find their pandemic buddy. Okay. So she found hers. They find each other. The ex-husband moves in to her place and they quarantine together. Okay. All's good in love and war. Love that. So long story short, she ends up, I'm really, 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 really giving you the top highlights. She ends up getting pregnant. And now, mind you, when she gets pregnant, there had been a couple other red flags that she should have left before the miscarriage. She ends up having a miscarriage, a pretty brutal miscarriage, and he is nowhere to be found. He's like, oh, I'll take you to the hospital so you can deliver the baby. And yeah. When it comes time for it to happen, he's like, oh, I can't make it. You're going to have to ask your friend or your aunt or whatever. I have to work. Okay. I would have been fucking out at that point. I'm not saying I, see red flags all the time and run, but I make no. And at that point, I don't care if that was the first, but it sure as fuck would have been the last. I would have been out at that point. Like the miscarriage, like you are going to abandon me at my absolute worst. And especially during a I feel so bad. Like no woman should have to suffer like that alone. And I feel awful for her that she had to go through that by herself without her alleged partner. And I say alleged because he's like terrible. I don't know how she told that story without saying allegedly and making jokes here and there because I would have been saying that shit right and left. No way I could have told a story like that. So she has a miscarriage. They're engaged because she is a very religious woman as well as her family. And he tells her that he is religious, but he's not. Now, my personal take on this whole overarching story is that this is a spiritual warfare in the flesh. I feel that especially because she is so kind and such a giving heart, and she says constantly that her mom is a praying woman. She's a praying woman. She stays with this man because they are engaged. They end up getting married on January 5th, 2021. And she says, per her videos, January 31st, 2021, I knew I fucked up. Okay. I guess we love self-awareness. I don't know. Now, she does say multiple times in the videos that she, she's embarrassed to tell the story. There's no reason to be embarrassed because I feel we should rally against her. She's being brave and honest enough to share her story. And we really shouldn't victim shame. Now, the only reason why I have issue with it is because one, the parts are way too long. I know I'm long-winded and I do appreciate the attention to detail, but again, you could have saved all of that background for the script when we wanted more. Like we didn't need all of the background information of the 23 parts. It just got good at part 30-32. If you guys want to start there, that's really all you need to know is part 30-32, 30-31-32 to the end. That's like really all you need to know. There's a lot of just unnecessary information, I would say, that I didn't really need to know, and it was repetitive. That's just my only qualm, but who am I to judge, So Long story short, towards the end, she has all these red flags. He tells her that, they're buying a house. He's approved for $700,000. He's going to buy it cash. He used to play not American football. What did he say? I don't know, some football situation. And I can't remember if it was like rugby football or soccer football or like football, bitch. I can't remember. Arena football. That's what he said. Arena football. And he made a lot of money or a decent amount. And then he was investor and then he had investments. So it grew and blah, blah, blah. And he has money to pay $700,000 in cash. He puts in an offer, a cash offer. This is the second house that they went into that he signed on the dotted line saying that he could pay $700,000 cash for this house, signed the contract, sent it over. Now, this is where the agent fucked up, but I wouldn't say it's like a big fuck up. It's just like you're not getting the deal done. Like you always have to have a proof of funds or a pre-approval to send with your offer, or else it's not even a full offer. Like it doesn't really exist, right? Like it's just paper. And it does exist, but like no offer is valid without the transfer of monies, right? So like you have to have money and everything for it to be a valid contract. 50 cents, $1 or $700,000. Doesn't matter. It just has to be valid. So they were going back and forth on the daily, like couple days. It dragged out saying that, oh, well, the listing agent wants to see your proof of funds. And he's like, oh, well, I'll send the proof of funds when the offer gets accepted, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. At least with me, doesn't work like that. Second, so then they forego the house. She kept saying the house fell out of contract. The house was never under contract with them. Like any of the houses, they put in offers. Just because you put in an offer doesn't mean that your house is under contract. And again, that's not on her. I'm just saying like terminology was wrong. Third, then they hire a new agent who's a girl. Her name's Amber. She's like, I'm not putting in an offer until I see proof of funds. Very hard no on that. And they were like, okay. And, Reesa Teesa is like, the ex-husband just sent them the proof of funds. He was like, no. And so fell out of that. Well, long story short, as we know, the funds did not exist. Therefore, no proof was proven. You can't have proof of funds without actual funds. He was telling Reesa Teesa that he had his bank account with like $15,000 in savings, $9,000 in checking. He had an offshore account and he had a U.S. bank account. She never saw the offshore account and she never saw the U.S. bank account. She says that she claims she saw the bank account. And towards the end of the series, she realizes that that was just a Google image when she reverse imaged it. He told her that he was a VP of a condiment company and that he had a company car that was charcoal gray that was $90,000. He, was going to buy her a BMW, a blue BMW with cognac interior, which she's obsessed with. BMW has gotten on that trend on TikTok and has, said, Reesa Teesa, come on over. I think it's really sad that he's wasted not only her time, obviously, but like everybody else's, but especially her time, And, this is what was crazy to me. This is what was crazy. Now, I think the whole thing is crazy and like being a con artist in any way is like insane and mental illness. But this scared me. He would have conversations on the phone like this. Like I'm doing this for YouTube right now. He has this on the phone. He picks up the phone. Nobody's on the other line and he's just full out having a conversation. Now, here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I'm deaf and my shit's all the way up when I'm on the phone. And most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm talking to on speaker. I feel like that's a very American thing because every time I talk about people overseas, they're like, that's very American to have your phone on speaker. No one gives a fuck. Okay, well, whatever. When the phone is to my ear, I can hear the other person's conversation, even if it's like to their ear or my ear, they can hear another person talking to me. She claims that she never heard somebody talking, but that he was on the phone with somebody having long conversations. Quote, talked to his brother every day for 30 minutes every morning while he got ready. All these things. I mean, and having stories like, oh, hey, are we going to go to X, Y, and Z's barbecue this weekend? He's asking me for an RSVP. Like random things that he would layer on top of the story. How do you keep all of that on track? That's what's crazy to me because it's so mental in the head that you have to keep up with the lies and have a motherfucking storyboard in your head. And you have to believe that shit so hard that you really think that you're having a conversation with John and you hear him talking back that you know what he said last week that you made up to remind X, Y, and Z about whatever. That is wild to me. So Reesa Teesa finally gets in touch with his family. Everything's a lie. He only has 2 brothers. Both of his parents are dead or deceased. Excuse me. I think the word dead is a little harsh. Or deceased. He has an uncle that's deceased and a cousin that is deceased. He told her that all of them died during COVID. And he also said that he had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And one of the cousins that he spoke to said, no, he has 2 brothers and one of them is his twin. And she was like, what? What the fuck? He is a twin. Towards the end, and I'm going to ruin it for you, is that he basically assumed the twins' identity. And, well, I don't know, in a con way, but the twin lived in Nashville in a $700,000 house with a wife and a child, drove a luxury vehicle, I believe a BMW, the charcoal gray situation. I think that he was a VP of a company, and the ex-husband basically assumed the twins' life. Now, I think that's so tough, right? Let's just say, put yourself in the ex-husband's shoes for a moment. To say that you, not even just having a sibling, but like a twin, where you literally shared like an egg and like the most DNA out of everybody, and you guys are complete 180 of each other. Like somebody is really successful and then the other one is not. And you happen to be the other one that is not successful. I mean, that is tough. Now, his family did say that he lied as a child and his family wants nothing to do with him. His family hasn't talked to him in like 20 years. There is spotty communication between some of the cousins, the distant cousins and the aunts, but like very, very few. And then when Reesa Teesa when Reesa Teesa talked to the family, they were like, you need to file a divorce and you need to do it immediately. She went to go file for a divorce. She needed to meet up with him at the UPS to get it notarized. And she said that he was living in his car. And it was at that point, she said that he smelled awful. She was saying that he didn't have any money. He had lost like weight. If he was a 3X, because he was a bigger guy, she was like, he's an extra large. He had some sort of issue with his knee, which was actually legit. And that kind of caused him to lose weight because he wouldn't eat and he would be in a lot of pain. And then obviously the being homeless and not having a job and things like that did not help. So, you know, she said that her heart broke, but not broke enough for her to not go through with the divorce, which I totally empathize with that. And I just think that is fucking sad and crazy. I don't think the story is super crazy with the thousands of comments. Like, babe, we've all heard it. We've seen Dirty John. We've seen the Tender Swindler. We've seen it all. Like, I just, you know, we even saw that Dr. Death episode recently, or the new season recently, about the guy who did the tracheas, and the fiance was a journalist, and you know, he was like some world-renowned surgeon and conned like the best hospital in Russia and Johns Hopkins and like in New York and like all this shit. So I know it's out there. It's just, you know, the point is to stay vigilant, use discernment. Once you get that intuitive feeling, you know what I realized? You don't always need to know the answer. You don't always need to know why. And I've really, really, really tried to lean into that recently, or just over the years as I have gotten older, is that I don't always need to know why. I just know that this is not for me. This is not good for me. And I just need to leave. I don't need to stay and figure out why it's not good for me. And I don't need to stay and figure out, you know, how to help them, heal them. It's not my job. As much as I want it to be, it's not my job, and it's not your job, especially as a woman or just anybody who is a kind soul. Once you get that feeling, you got to run for the hills and you have to trust it. And that's that. Also, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day and she was telling me about this, like, you know how they're gearing up for the new season of Bridgerton? The sister from season 2 that was allegedly going to marry Jonathan Bailey, I forget his name from the show, but then he like ends up falling in love with like, you know, the main character and like whatever. She's gone crazy. Her name is Ruby Barker. and she's doing some like Amanda Bynes situation. It's super unfortunate. She talks about mental health on her Instagram. She's posting videos about how she's going crazy and like she's dancing really provocative with like little clothes on, and she's promoting her OnlyFans, which is fine, whatever, but she's like having mental breakdowns. She's talking to other people, like thinking that they're in the room, and she's tagging like a lot of the Bridgerton cast, and like she's kind of spiraling. So I'm going to keep an update on that and really pray that she gets the help that she needs, because that's scary. And then last but not least, Taylor Swift, I think, just finished her Australian leg in Sydney, and Sabrina Carpenter sang White Horse with her because they had like bad weather or something. She couldn't perform as the opener. So she did a full circle moment and performed White Horse with Taylor Swift at the piano and the acoustic set. And Sabrina Carpenter, when she was 9 years old, was singing White Horse on YouTube. And like, then she was saying an old tweet resurfacing that she couldn't get tickets to Taylor Swift, and then, or something like that. And then now she's like singing with Taylor Swift and touring with Taylor Swift. I thought that was really sweet. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I don't know. I hope this episode was like jam-packed. Who knows? But I will have more coming Thursday. And maybe finishing my thoughts I didn't have time to get to today about everything. But please rate, subscribe anywhere you get podcasts. Follow us on YouTube at Coffee Meets Vodka. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at coffee.meets.vodka. Email us coffeemeetsvodkapod@gmail.com. And don't forget to share with your friends. Bye.